I think this is a very common thing today for men to experience or have experienced in the past, which is the confusion surrounding emotions and being masculine. There's a ton of different advice out there, and I mean, honestly, go for the advice that you believe is the best for you. But this is mine that comes from experience and really trying to understand this stuff for a long time. I know a lot of us as men, especially when we were younger, were convinced that we needed to show our emotions. I was definitely convinced of this, having gone through many relationships and having listened to many women about how it is to be a man. Or not even that, just having guidance from only women, right? Because, you know, there was no masculine leadership when I was younger. It was a very feminized world and still is in many ways, but it's a bit better now with the internet, where we have access to different types of people all around the world. But I would, in relationships, show them how I felt quite overtly, in terms of a lot of the weaker emotions, you could say. I don't like that word, but, you know, in terms of sadness and crying and shame and fear, kind of emotions that are healing yet dysfunctional. They're not rational. And I did it a lot for a lot of my life. And I started to notice that the people just wouldn't respect me as much. So then became this battle, which is everything's telling me to be honest at all times, to show everyone my emotions. But on the other hand, I can see with the way people react to this that they don't really want to see it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see it. I'm just doing it because something tells me I should. So I just started to question things, and I believe I've come to a kind of resolution by this which creates the most effective leader that you can be as a man. This is one element to it anyway. It's important to feel your emotions, always. We do not repress emotions unless we are leading, unless we're at war, unless we're, you know, in a business or whatever sense, some place where where we're being rational leaders. We then have to hide the emotions until later. But the key is later we process them. We need to go through all these emotions. We have to go through our feminine in order to get to our true masculine essence, spiritual masculinity. The only way we get there is through the feminine, through these emotions, through the sadness and the fear and the shame that we haven't processed as a child, through all the anger that covers up these things, that protects us from these things, our defense mechanisms. It's very important you learn to do this as a man. We cannot lead effectively unless we've already overcome the thing that we're trying to lead people through. And most of the problems in this world are emotional. So as a male leader, you have to be able to handle emotions. Your families and your children and your partners, your wives, your teams, your groups, your businesses will all look to you to help them with their emotions. If we are unable to process our own, we cannot sit with theirs. But when we are with other people, we need to be rational. We need to put aside our emotions and be able to take the most rational course. Having understood our emotions means we can empathize, we can understand where people are coming from. We don't become psychopaths. We don't become narcissists because we understand our feelings. We become people leaders. We protect the people from these narcissists and psychopaths, right? Only because we've been through all of that. And then when we're with people, we lead them through rationality. We lead them through heart because we care about who they are, we care about their needs, and we rationally lead them. We know what's best in a situation. So there are those two elements to it. And it's very important that we keep these separate. We don't show people when we're processing our sadness or our shame or our fear. We keep this to ourselves. We fight this war alone, so then we can go out unto our families and teams and into battle and be able to be the most effective possible leader that we can be. I don't really see another way to do it. I don't really see an effective leader having to process their emotions all the time when leading people. When someone who looks to you for leadership has experienced an overwhelming amount of emotion, you need to be able to hold yours in check and be there for them rationally, yet with an open heart. If we have no skill in this sense, then we ourselves, their emotions cause us to become emotional and we're no longer leading. We're just playing this game, you know, the emotions game where they have emotions and I have emotions in reaction to them, etc., etc. We are not strength then anymore. So this is what it means to lead with emotional intelligence, to lead from the heart. I think a lot of men believe the leading come from repressing emotion, but like I said before, this is the way to lead from a narcissistic or a psychopathic way, because you don't understand yourself. The life will then just become about controlling other people so you don't have to experience your own emotions. It will be about manipulation. It will be about subtlety and things like that in order to gain the upper hand so you don't have to experience yourself. But if we go away and we experience ourselves alone, we experience the depths of who we are, the pain that rattles down there that we don't want to face, the real war, the spiritual war that we haven't fought. If we go off on our own and really dig down into the depths of who we are, no matter how dark it is, we then have the capacity to lead others in this way. There is no other way. We can't lead something that we don't have any idea about. We can't repress and ignore ignore all our emotions and problems and everything and then expect to be able to lead other people. You need the skill, you need a better skill than others in order to lead them. And our primary skill comes from exploring ourselves to the depths, having the discipline, the courage, the fearlessness to do this. So go ahead and be on your own and do what you need to do to overcome the darkness inside. But when you're with people, this is your test. This is your time to witness or detach from your emotions and take a wide view of things and lead people from a rational, heart-filled point of view. Thanks, guys.